Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining in. Welcome to the February edition of What's Happening in Avni. Yeah, a quick review of the agenda. So, first, because there are always new people joining in, we will have a quick Avni introduction. Then next, we will move on to looking at what new features we've added and rolled out in February. Then we'll have a look at what's coming up in March. Then the key theme for this webinar, which is how you can build an MIS management information system by yourself. Because we've mainly, I think we've rolled out rule designer and canned analytics, which we think are major steps that will enable building MIS by yourself. And next, then we will have, I think, 15 to 20 minutes remaining for feedback and discussion. So jumping on to introducing Avni. What's Avni? Avni is an open source software as a service with drag and drop style MIS builder. And using Avni, you can build your own MIS. We are going to see in this webinar in more detail, extend capabilities using several extension points. Once this MIS or system is built, you can collect data using various ways: Android application, web-based browser. There are CSV uploads, downloads, or there are programmatic interfaces available using which you can integrate Avni, push and pull data to Avni from other systems. There are ways how you can write some custom reports that can be shown to the field workers. And there is integrated analytics. You can there are some out of the box analytics which we call canned analytics, as well as there are ways to write custom reports using some of the open source tools that the hosted service comes along with, like Metabase and Jasper. And as I am mentioning, that there is a hosted service. So if even if you are starting on a new project, you can just sign up on the account over there and get started by yourself. Or of course, we are there to help you right from setting up to providing AMC and everything. What are the key applications of Avni? The first and foremost use of Avni is for case management. That is like tracking data in a longitudinal form. Like you can register an individual once and keep on recording data against the same individual again and again. There are like it can be used for surveys like baseline, endline surveys, one-off surveys, and for cohort-based research studies. It has been used in variety of domains. A majority of the use cases are in health domain, but there have been various other use cases like social security, rejuvenating water bodies, and now we are seeing more in newer use cases as also we are discussing, like for example vocational training to students, etc. So far, Avni has been used in more than 30 projects and has been used by more than 3,000 users and touched the lives of more than 1 million beneficiaries so far. This on the right side are various states where we've had implementations or projects. If you are in one of these states, you can always, I mean, discuss with us and visit one of the places to see how Avni has been functioning. Next, I would hand it over to Vinay to talk about what we've rolled out in February and what we are going to see in March. Over to you, Vinay.
Thanks, Arjun. So last month we had talked about the rule designer, which we did like a sneak preview of. What we did last time was seek feedback, and we did seek feedback both from people as well as internally. And there have been some modifications, some refinements, and the rule designer is officially rolled out as of beginning of this week. So we will go through like a demo of how this looks like right after me. Vinod would be doing a good demo. Vinod will also be talking about canned analytics, which is like a new feature where we have analytics in the form of meta-based dashboards, which are specific to every single customer who's coming in. But these are some out of the box reports which we think can be helpful. This is again a work in progress. So there are some reports that are out there. There are a lot of reports which are not there. And we'd actually like your feedback to see what exactly you would want to see and why. The third is a really small feature. We used to collect photographs and videos via the Avni mobile app. However, it was never possible to easily retrieve them from a report where you could just click on a URL and get the image or get the photo. So this is like a small feature. The media access from Jasper is a small feature where we kind of enabled that. What's coming up in March? One big thing that's happening in March is the granular sync. So until now, we've been having this concept that every mobile user will have a catchment, which is like an area which they would be in charge of, and data for that catchment will get into that device. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of use cases where that is not necessarily the case. There are some cases where you are assigned a certain piece of work. There are other cases where these catchments are not geographically bound. Like, for example, there's a project which is running across the different parts of the country, but there's one person responsible for that, and there's another person responsible for a different project which is again running in the same kind of areas. So we wanted to have something that can go beyond the current catchment, which essentially tells you how exactly or what exact pieces of data should get into a person's device that can make them productive. And that's the gist of what granular sync really is. The second is really a small thing, but it's been very useful. So in a lot of survey kind of projects, right? So there are cases where there is a question which has 2 or 3 pieces of answers. For a simple thing could be like a question that asks for numbers in that should be broken down into male, female, and others. So a simple grouping on the screen would really help in for people to figure out, as well as for implementers to implement this. So that's like a small feature that's coming up in March. The third one is big from our perspective. I don't know how it looks like from an implementation perspective. I know a lot of people are there. People who are using Avni are on the call. So one of the things we've been noticing is that reports have not been performing up to our expectations. So there are some architecture level changes that we're going to try out this month to see if reports can get much faster, at least a few order of magnitudes faster than it is running right now. It's still an experiment that we're trying out. We are hoping that, the initial results look good. We're hoping that we can roll this out by end of this month. With that out of the way, a demo by Vinod's, which essentially talks where he essentially would go through building of a complete MIS from end to end. Over to you, Vinod.
Yeah, thanks, Vinay. I think,
Yeah, I think Vinod, I'll just quickly, I think, give an overview of what use case we are going to demonstrate.
yeah, sure.
And I think you can take it over from there to demonstrating. Okay. Yeah, so the use case that we picked up the Fulwari use case. We have Ravi and Pratishtha from JSS. JSS runs a program called as Fulwari, a very interesting rural creche program. And because it's a small use case that covers a variety of features, I mean, we picked it up. So what we're going to, so what basically Fulwari is like a creche. You have children over there, and regularly there are supervisors who monitor their growth. They are given food and nutrition over there in the Fulwari, and the objective is that to regularly monitor the growth of these children, and so on a monthly basis, the supervisors go and do anthropometry assessment, which is measuring height and weight of these children. So we will basically have a registration. So I'll just go through a spreadsheet how our schema is going to look like. So we will have a registration form where the user will be registering individual with all these fields like name, age, gender. Then there would be another page with birth order, father's name, caretaker phone number. Then another page for economic status. You will have various fields over there. Some fields will hide and show based on previous question. Then the child or the individual will be enrolled into the Fulwari program. Every Fulwari will have some date on which the visit is done. So that date will be captured in the enrollment program. And then as part of the Fulwari enrollment for on every child, there would be an anthropometry assessment form that will be recorded. And the form would look like this. There would be a first question where we
Arjun,
ask.
sorry to interrupt. We're seeing your presentation. I'm guessing you're going through a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I selected just one screen. Let me just change that. So I'm still like getting hold of how to operate Zoom. So, yeah, I've done my whole desktop, so it should be visible now. Can you confirm?
Yes, it's working now.
Great. Okay. So here, I'll maybe start over again just so that I think it's good to just have a look at all these fields. So here we have like 3 pages on the registration form. I was talking about this. The first page will have name, age, gender. The second page will have some other fields like birth order, father's name, caretaker phone number with different data types. These fields are of different data types, and economic status as the third page, where you have then couple of questions being asked about the economic status, any property that the family has, and based on that, some questions around that. Then you have the enrollment form, where individual is enrolled or the child is enrolled into the Fulwari program. There you capture the date on which this growth monitoring visit will be done. Then there is a form called as anthropometry assessment, which will be captured every month by the Fulwari supervisor. And in this, you will have these 3 fields. First, they'll because height is not captured every time. There is first a question where it asks whether you want to capture height. Based on that, yes and no, the next question will hide or show, and then there is weight. And we already talked about the visit schedule is dependent on this date that is entered in the Fulwari enrollment form. So on this date, let's say if it is 17th, 17 is mentioned. So every month 17th, the visit will be scheduled. So 17th February, 17th March, April, so on, basically. So that's the use case that we are looking at. Now Vinod will take us through how you can set it up by yourself also using Avni. The major reason, we already had form designer, but like Vinay already described, there was a need to write some small JavaScript snippets to be able to write a complete to be able to design the complete system. Now we have eliminated that need to a huge extent, and so with drop downs and drag and drop, you would be able to create these rules, like the visit scheduling rule that I talked about, or the skip logic rule, where you can hide and show questions based on certain fields. There are other rules also. This use case maybe covers a few rules. There are more rules that you can set up using the rule designer. And we would also look at canned analytics, how some reports you can get out of the box, so that when you set up an implementation, you can immediately start using or reviewing the data that is there, and then based on that decide if you want further some custom reports in some very custom formats that you require. Otherwise, maybe that is more than sufficient. So with that, I think the talks on the side, and time to see the thing in real action. So over to you, Vinod, to demonstrate this whole how anyone can set it up by themselves.
Thanks, Arjun. So I'll share my screen. Okay, let me know when my screen is visible.
It's visible.
Okay, so we have already gone through the sheet, so I'll not walk through it again. So this is my sheet, and I have. So I have this is my web app, basically the app designer. So let me just open it in a. I don't know how to. Okay, I'll open it in a new window. So first we'll create some village. Sorry, first of all we create some location and the catchment, because in Avni every subject has to be registered to a location. So I'll just create a location type village, and it will be the only one level. So and I'll also create one location. I'll call it this is the name of the village that I'm giving, and this village is registered. Now I will add this village to a catchment. I'll name it same as my uh, village. So there is only one location that I'll add, and I'll create one user. So let's name it test, and I'll just
Uh, Vinod, just one suggestion. It might be useful for at least for people who are coming new to like get an give a slightly slower kind of an approach, because everybody here would be looking at the screens for the first time.
okay,
So the fact that like there is a login, and what you do with the login might also be useful for everyone to know, and
sure.
also how you get to this screen in the first place, right?
Yeah. So this is the home screen whenever you log into the Avni web app, and basically there are multiple apps which are integrated here. So first, so we'll be touching the admin app, app designer. Will also see the data entry app and the canned reports. So admin app is basically where you can do the admin stuff. So you can create the location, as earlier Vinay mentioned that. We had a concept of catchment, and which is basically the group of different locations that you assign it to the user, and based on that data is synced to the mobile app. So we have created one location type that we called village, and one location of this village we are calling it Kuakera. And then I created one catchment of the same name as the village, so there is only one village which is in this catchment. So now next what we will do is, because we also need a login, so we will create a user, and we will assign the catchment that we created to that user. Okay, so uh, I'll just give some random number. Okay, and I will assign this user a catchment, Makera, that we just created. So with this, basically our admin part is done. So we have a user which we can log in, and we can basically see all the all the changes that we will be doing. So for the web app, I'll be using the same user, but when we will see the mobile app, then we will use this user. Okay, so now if I go back to my sheet, so these all things are done. We have created the location type, name, catchment, and user. Now coming to the registration. So basically what we need is we need a subject type. So basically every data is captured against a subject type. So we will create, so in this case, we are capturing the child's data. So I will name my subject type as child, and this is a person's type. So choosing a subject type as person, so platform gives me some out of the field, so out of the box fields that I don't have to create. Okay, so once I have created this subject type, so it automatically generates a registration form for me. So I can open this form. Okay, so as you can see, this there is one page that comes here, so which is non-editable. So this is given by the platform. And if you see first name, last name, date of birth, age, gender, these are all given. So the first page is kind of done for me. So I don't have to do anything in here. So let's start with the second page. So the page name is basic details. Okay, so this will be my group name. Now I need a question. So there are three questions in here. So the first is a birth order, which is of type number. So I'll create a new concept here, birth order. It's a numeric concept, and question's name will also be birth order. So I will just save it. This will be a mandatory question. Next is my father's name. I will again create a new question concept. So this will be a text field, and I'll save it. I'll also name my question same as my concept. So we'll make it this mandatory. Next comes mother's name. So we'll also have mother's name concept. So if each of the data is captured against a concept, so that's why we create the concept. And if you already have concept created, you can always reuse those concepts. Now, if you see this field, there are some validations that we need to do here. So we will do that. So I need to create this thing. So this is a caretaker mobile number. This will be numeric. Okay. And if we see, it has to be 10 digits. So we will use the regex validation over here that is given by the Avni form. And I'll just give a key here, require 10 digits. Okay, it's a mandatory field, and I will copy it again and paste it here. So what this does is basically you can translate this key to any of the other language, and like if the number is not 10 digit, you get that error. So with this, I think we are done with the second page. So we will create the new page. So I'll just collapse this so that it's better visible. The next page is the economic status. So I'll copy it again. I have the first one is the economic status. The question is economic status. So now if you see, this is the option type question. So we have something called coded questions that we will create here. Okay, so we already know all the answers. So I'll just one by one create these answers. So I have three answers here. And yeah, so this concept has three answers. I'll save this concept, and I'll also save this thing. So, and this is a single select. So every coded concept can be either single select or the multi select. So this is the single select. We have next one multi select. So that we will be creating now. So it's again coded because we have multiple answers here. I'll copy this, paste it here. So there are multiple answers. Okay, I have fridge, I have cycle, I have generator, then there is none, so there is other. Okay, so I will just remove any spaces. And if you see here, the none is a unique type, which means that if I selected none as my option, user should not be allowed to select any other option. Okay, so I think I skipped that. Okay, so what I'll do is, so this is multi-select one, and I'll just mark this concept answer as unique. So let me edit that. So none has to be unique. So I skipped it while creating the concept. So you can also do it from here only. I skipped it, okay. And there is last one, which is other property, please specify. Okay, so this basically depends on this question, and it's a kind of skip logic that we'll have to write, that this should only be visible when you answer the previous one as other. So yeah. Okay, so basically we need to write a rule for this. So what we will do is we'll go to the rules, and I need to, so let us save this. I need to enable the rule designer for this. So let me quickly do that. And I'll just refresh it once. So child registration. So this was a form that we were working on. So I'll go to the rule here. So the last one that we were working. So I'll choose that. What we need is we need any property in this registration has the answer other. Okay, then you show this form element to me. So otherwise you don't show me. I'll say generate the rule. You can see, you can read the summary. So it says that show the form element if concept any property in this registration contains answer other. So only then it will be visible. So we'll save this thing, and what we will do is we will quickly look at how it looks our app. Okay, so we'll use the like data entry app for this. So that we can see that our form is right. So we had the child one. So I'll just see this. So like I'll have an age. So let's see. Let's have a 1 month age of this one female. We can choose the village. Birth order is one. Father's name is okay. This is non-mandatory. So you can see that there is a validation which triggers here. So I have to like give the 10-digit. Okay, so this is happening, and we had added the skip logic rule here. So if I choose other, then I get to see this question, and also like if you're choosing none, then you can't choose the other option with that, right? So none has to be unique. So both are working. That's fantastic. And I'll choose this, and I'll I'll just go to next and save this. So our registration form is working fine. That's great. Now we will come to the enrollment. So now once you have registered, we have created a subject type for the enrollment. We need to create a program. Okay, so we can enroll a child to the Fulwari program. Okay, so the name of the program is Fulwari, and the child will be the subject type. So I will not do much of the things here. You can write the enrollment eligibility rule, but we'll skip it for now. And it gives me the form. So I'll go to that form, and it just has one question which says date of first growth monitoring. So I'll name it visit. Okay, so I'll just keep details, and I'll create a new one here. I'll mark it as date. So once you are enrolling it, it asks you the date from which you want to start the growth monitoring, and then from the next month it will start the monitoring from that date. So we are done with this form also. So now we'll first create the anthropometry assessment form, and then we will see at how we can schedule the visit. So because we need encounter for the visit, so this is for the child, and program is Fulwari. So this encounter type is tied to the Fulwari program and to the child subject type that we just created. And we get the encounter form and the cancellation form. So we'll go to the encounter form. And there are 3 questions in here. So first let's do that. So the first question is my single select, whether you want to capture the height or not. Okay. So this will be my page name. So I'll call it child details. Okay, I'll create a new coded concept here, and so it has the 2 answers, yes and no. Okay, so this will be mandatory. It will be single select, and yeah. So the next one is a height, and another is a weight. So the height is in centimeters, weight is in kgs. Let's create that as well. Create new, or create height. It will be numeric. Numeric, and height will be in centimeters. Okay. And it will be mandatory, but we don't want to capture the height every time. So we will have so that's why we had our first question. So that will basically ask, and based on that we'll show the next question. Okay, so this one will be in kgs, the weight is in kgs, and this is also mandatory. So now because this is mandatory, so now we only want this to be shown when when my this question, which is whether you want to capture the height, is yes. So whether you want to capture the height is yes, then only I want to show this form element. Okay, I think this looks good. And if you see the summary, it gives me a clear picture. Yeah, this is fine. Cool. So now our this form is also done. Now coming to the visit schedule. So what we want is we want to schedule the anthropometry assessment. So first of all, like based on this date, and we want to schedule it till like child turns the 4 years of age, right? So we'll do that now. So first of all, whenever you do the enrollment, we'll have to do that. So we'll go to the rules tab, visit scheduling, and here, so we want to have, so we had this logic where we want to age has to be less than 4 years, right? So that is one thing. So till the age is less than 4 years, we'll schedule a visit of type anthropometry assessment, and we'll use date of first this thing. We'll schedule it immediately and we'll overview it after 3 days. Okay, so first let's generate the visit and let's understand what it does. So what this will do is it will keep on scheduling the visit till the child's age is 4 year, right? And what it does is it takes so from the enrollment it takes this date of the first growth monitoring. So on that date it will schedule the first visit, and which will overdue after 3 days. Fine. So this will be done on the enrollment form, and we have to kind of do the same thing in the after every encounter also, right? So once you have done this anthropometry assessment, you want to reschedule it again. So that will write it here. So we will do the kind of same thing there. So we'll have the same logic. Age in years is less than value 4 years. So that is one thing. We will schedule the same visit, but this time we will use the earliest visit date time. Okay. And what we will do is we'll add 30 days to that thing, and we will overdue it after 33 days. Okay, so whatever the earliest visit date you are doing, so for the next month, we will add 30 days to that, and we will overdue at 33 days for the overdue. Okay, and we will save this. Fine. So I think we are almost done. So what I'll do is I'll log into my emulator first. Okay, so we will use our this user test at the FW. So this is my mobile app, test at the FW. So I got my password. Okay, this is the first time login I'm doing. So it will ask for me to change the password. So whatever forms we have created, it is basically syncing all those forms and the data from the server. So once it is synced, then I can basically use this app completely offline. And you see that there is already one registration that we did from the data entry app. We'll also do the same thing from the data entry app also, but let's see it from here first. So just wanted to show it from here. So we have already done this registration. So I will enroll this in a Fulvari program. Okay, and I'll choose a date. Okay, let's say I want to choose today's date only. And when I click on next, so you see that it scheduled the today's visit for me. Okay, anthropometry assessment. So because it is today's date, I can save and proceed with this, but let's first save this. Okay, and so you see that there is one visit planned, which is anthropometry assessment. Okay, and I go here, and you see that this question is showing up, and we have done the with skip logic here. So based on that, it will show me the height question. So wait, I'll just put 2 kgs right now. Okay, and I'll say next. So you see that next visit gets scheduled automatically, right? So, and I can save it. So this will keep on happening till this child uh, becomes 4 year. Okay, now let's do this. Let's do this thing. Go to edit and make it 5 years. Okay, so now let's see what happens. Okay, so suppose, so I edited the child. So now this child is 5 years, and if I go to and if I try to do this visit, So this visit will happen, of course, because this is already scheduled visit, but the subsequent visits will not display, right? So there is no visit that gets scheduled now. Okay. So this is how it works here. Similarly, if you see, let me open my data entry app also. So there as well, okay, let's register a new child. Same thing basically we can do in the data entry app as well. Uh, okay, and have some age here. Okay, a male, village is this. I go to next, birth order is 1, father's name is, and just give random number. And so this completes my registration, and similarly from here also I can enroll it in Fulvari program, and it asked me the first visit date. I can choose any date, and then my first date will get here, and then based on, so if you see here, my planned visits are getting scheduled here. I can do that, do those visits, and like everything works as a mobile app, and this is completely online. Like as you save it, it gets saved to the server. In the mobile app, you need to basically press the sync button, so the next visit also gets scheduled here, right? So yeah, so broadly, so this is what was the requirement, and I think we have done that. So I think with that, I'll hand it over to Arjun. To
Vinod, can you show a complete workflow in mobile application once? Because field app is one of the primary use cases. So
Sure,
it might be good to see right from registration to enrollment to visit. Just start a new individual
sure.
and let's see how that looks.
Okay, so this is basically the home dashboard that gets displayed when the sync is over, and so these are the tabs. So using registration tab, you will see the list of all the subject type that you have created, and you can register all those subject types. So for us, it is just child. So we will register a child. Uh, so So we'll register this child. It has 1 month, male, and so you need to do all the mandatory answers need to be, questions need to be answered. So I'll have a father's name. Uh, uh, okay, and then its phone number. It has to be 10 digit. Uh, So the key that you see here, you can always translate it using translation. Avni is multilingual, and you can always add more languages to it, give translation to all the keys. All this, whatever you see here, you can translate it. So once the registration is done, you see the subject dashboard here. Okay, and then you get an option to enroll in program. So you see all the list of the program. Right now we just have Fulvari, so we'll enroll the child in Fulvari program, and we'll see like when we want to have our first anthropometry assessments date. So that is when it will get scheduled. So once the visit is scheduled, we can basically perform that visit. All right. So once that visit is done, it will do the next visit for us. So in the dashboard, you can see that there are all the completed visit shows up here, and you can always you can expand the card, and you get to see all the details that you have captured. Also, you can see the enrollment detail, like how the visit scheduling is working. All those things can be seen from here. And also, like in mid, when like child is, suppose he is out of the village or something, you can exit this child from the program as well. uh, yeah, I think this is it. Arjun, anything else you want me to add?
No, I think that's good. I think yes.
Okay.
Sure. May I just say something? This is Aditi.
Yes, Aditi, please.
Yeah. Can we just have a look at, maybe we can put 2-3 values for the anthropometric data and see the chart, growth chart or something? Can you I just saw that option there.
Yeah, sure. Vinod, can you do that?
Just put some 2-3 values and we can see the chart.
Okay, sure.
So I don't know whether you will be able to do future date visits, because for the growth chart to put up, just ensure that you're putting dates like one month later actually. So you may want to do a past dated registration. I don't know whether this will work. Try it out, or otherwise
Oh,
register.
okay. Because we gave the registration date as 4th of March. We might
Yes.
have to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me just check it.
And normally this growth chart is more, I mean, birth onwards, I think it's applicable. I think the Fulvari program is usually 6 months to 3 years, but I think here, I think yeah, we can, I mean, growth chart can keep getting plotted. We know a few more encounters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, 40 kgs. Let me just check if it is. Yeah, it is plotting it. Okay. Let me also do more. Yes. Right. 50 and like 4.5. No. And let's do one more. Yes. 160 and 5 kgs. Okay. So yeah, it's kind of plotting it. So these are the values.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, and another thing is
values might be a little incorrect, but yeah, that's how it gets
no, that's
plotted.
okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
We're not putting correct values at the moment.
Yeah.
Another thing is you said it's multilingual. So how can it be in Marathi if we are going to use
Yeah,
it?
Vinod, can you show that as well? I mean, good
Yeah,
if we are
language
getting these
change.
questions. If you can show it, like convert a few questions into Hindi. Let's just do that. Download the file and let's just put a few.
Sure. So basically here in the admin app, you get to like add the more languages. So whatever language your organization support, you can add as many language you want. So by default, it is in English. I have added Hindi now. And after that, there is a translation app. So here I will first need to download my files. Okay, so I'll download it. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to. Okay, let me just open it from here. Extract here. So what I'll do is
Vinod, can you do it in localize? Just upload it in localize. Let's look at it proper way.
okay.
So basically, Aditi, here, this is a JSON file that gets downloaded. It's a simple key value file, basically. And you can put values against a key. If, I mean, people, because this text file might be a little overwhelming, we use another web software, which is another product called as Localize. It's a software for translation management. So we can upload that JSON file over here, and then like put translation, I mean translators, whoever is responsible for translating can put translations over there. You can create a new project.
Okay.
Yeah, because my question basically is the users, end
Do
users will
button.
be using it in Marathi.
Sorry. Yeah, Aditi,
The end users will be using it in local language,
yeah,
Marathi.
whichever
So
language.
how?
So basically first the app has to be converted into that language. Okay. So first, I mean, normally what we do is we develop the application, whole application in English. Then once the whole application is developed and it is all looking fine and all of that, then download this key file, this JSON file, the translation file, and then translate it. And then you have to upload this file back again into Avni with the translations. And that basically makes it, I mean, then your app is converted into that particular language. It can be Hindi, Marathi, Gujarati, Bengali, whichever language, I mean, you want to, and it can be multiple languages also. It doesn't have
Can
to
I
be.
have another question is, now here we were all having very specific questions as height, weight, etc. If I want to have questions where the answers are going to be kind of descriptive or long answers where the person is going to, for example, if I'm having a counseling case and whatever the problem that each case describes, the counselor is going to provide some, counseling advice, and she's going to probably write it in a paragraph for something. So that keying in is okay in a local language. Will she be able to key it in the text matter, what she wants to say about the case?
Yes, there are two data types. We have a text data type and a notes data type. And
Okay,
those are
okay.
like open text fields. Anyone can enter in any language. If they want to enter in English, if they want to enter in Hindi, Marathi, whichever language they want to enter it. It's just that the app will not automatically translate that thing into anything. Whatever it is entered in,
That will be
that's what
shown.
you will show in your wherever you are viewing it, basically.
Okay, okay, that's fine. And then as we for Google Forms, you get it as an Excel sheet, the data.
Yes.
Is it the same for this? Do we get the
I'll come to that. I mean, I'll come to various ways that you can put in data in Avni and get data out of Avni. I'll come to that.
Arjun, actually, I'm not able to get that auto translated thing. Okay, not sure.
हाँ मतलब एक I think just put right English to
think for
Hindi.
this purpose, right? Maybe you could sync on the app and you could see how the translations look right now for the platform translations.
Yeah, that can be
And
done.
the specific questions, we know that we'll have to use localize and be able to like translate them and show them. But you could show the actual Hindi version and how it looks like at least at this time.
Yeah, so platform translations can be done.
So Aditi, the platform translations are already there in Marathi. And when I mean platform translations, it's all these fields, right? They are all
Yes.
already done in Marathi because there are a lot of people from Maharashtra who are using it, some specifically
Right.
for child growth purposes. So it's only the new questions that are added that will require like actual translations, really.
Okay, fine.
So yeah, as you can see, I have added Hindi, and
Yeah.
so it shows me the option here. So most of the like platform strings, they are translated in Hindi, and of course like so whatever the new forms that you are creating, so like we have added these weight, height, all those strings, you can essentially use localize or any other tool to basically get the translation and then upload the file in the platform. So once platform has that translation, it will show that in that language.
The other thing is that you can actually make sure that the first language they see is Marathi. Like Vinod, can you show the user creation screen? Maybe that's where.
Yeah.
So I mean, usually if you get something in English and you don't know English, then you're kind of
Right,
pretty much stuck.
right. So
So
you can set the default to Marathi maybe.
yeah.
And
So
then,
basically
yeah.
here, basically preferred language for each of the users,
Yes.
you can set it.
Right,
So
right.
there are some user specific settings. I mean, we are showing only a few features. I mean, once you try it out, there are quite a lot of features that are there in Avni. Our idea is basically to give you a feeling that it's simple enough that you can get started. Then there are a bunch of features that I think you have to explore, try it out, and all of
Right.
that. There are a bunch of user settings, like you can track location, for example, latitude, longitude, where the user is capturing the form. Then you can give which date picker they want, or like which is their preferred language. All these, there are user settings, and there are more settings actually, more things. For example, for phone number, right now we used a numeric data type. There is a phone number data type also. And if you have it if you have a SMS provider setup, then you will have a feature called as phone number verification, where once the phone number is entered,
Yep.
an OTP will be sent to that phone number. And when that OTP is entered into the form, then it marks that phone number as verified. This is to
Okay.
ensure that the phone numbers that we are capturing in the system are actual phone numbers and not some either fraud or there is no mistake and those kind of things. So there are features like these that are there. I think, but we just focused on the core feature, which is how to set up some key entities and forms and some rules, etc. right now.
Arjun, hi, Pratishtha
Yeah.
here. I have
Okay.
so when we were doing this multi-select option thing, so adjacent to that unique option was another option which was named abnormal. So in which
Correct.
we use that abnormal thing option.
हाँ मतलब abnormal सी क्या होता है ना, so there is sometimes you have a certain a question, for example, let's say what urine albumin, for example, if it was like none, +1, +2, +3, right? Then +1, +2, +3 are abnormal values. So why abnormal values are important is because you want to highlight them in red so that the user also gets to know. So if you've marked it as abnormal, then app will automatically show it in red.
Okay, so that doesn't mean, for example, what was in my mind, in our Fulvari program, we take children from 6 months to 3 years of age. So my requirement is no child less than 6 months of age can get enrolled by mistake also.
That's like that will be your enrollment rule, program enrollment rule. Vinod, if you can show that screen. So there is basically a rule that needs to be written. Right now, I mean, this enrollment eligibility check rule, right? Here, what you will write right now, age is not showing up there. It's a small bug that needs to be fixed, but you can put a condition on age over there. You can say that, okay, someone will be eligible for this program based on this particular condition, which is in this case is age less than 6 months, or I mean, age should be greater than 6 months, or age should be less than 3 years. That's the condition that you will put. And so the Fulvari enroll button will only show up for all the people who are greater than 6 months and less than 3 years.
Okay, and anything that we want to get highlighted as abnormal value, that for that we just select the abnormal option. There is no other thing.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks.
I mean, for numeric, there is abnormal range, normal range that you can provide. And for coded answers, you can tick basically which answers you think which answers are basically abnormal. And whenever user selects that answer, that will show up in red.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Nikita, pertaining to your question related to growth chart, I mean, see, this growth chart feature is very specific to this anthropometry assessment. But if let's say you are doing it in some other domain, then automatically chart does not plot over here in the mobile application. Those are maybe custom reports that need to be set, and maybe chart kind of reports will not be possible in the field app. They will be possible via Metabase or one of the reporting solutions that we use. As we learn more about the domains, and if there are some out of the box charts, we had a lot of people like, I mean, Pratishtha, Ravi here from JSS. We had a lot of people experts in the domain of public health, and we knew that there are certain things that are really required in these programs. So we kind of included them as features out of the box in Avni. And because this program is marked as I mean, there is some setting already in the code where it says that if the program name is Fulvari or so and so, automatically show the growth chart option over there. And that's why you saw the growth chart option over there. If you're using in a non-health kind of use cases, then growth chart button will also not show up over there. And yeah, so I mean, there is no automatic growth chart plotting that is there.
Also,
Okay.
this.
So,
Yeah.
sorry,
Sorry, go ahead,
Yeah,
Nikita.
I didn't want to cut you, but I just wanted to understand what are, like, Avni specifically at the moment, what are the kind of domains that Avni is most specialized in apart from health?
Apart from health, there is no other domain. Health only a two features only, even specialization wise. There is one growth chart and another is ability to track vaccinations. Those are the two features that are very domain specific and that are there in Avni. There is no other feature from any other domain that is there already. Most everything else is very generic, applicable to all the domains basically.
Okay, so if I have to utilize your services, then what is the kind of procedure for it? Can I do it on my own, or would I need your
Yeah, I
help
think let's get to
on a
that.
daily
I'll
basis?
cover that a little later.
Okay.
Let us finish the whole view of this application, and then I'll because we're running out of time, I'll just get to that also towards the end. Definitely, how you can get started.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So here, I think now I'll just show some of the things that. So one we definitely wanted to show is canned analytics. But before that, one point I had mentioned even to Aditi, there are various ways that you can get data in Avni. And when you're setting up a system like this in Avni, you get all of those ways. Now, by what I mean by ways is, one is you saw the field app, which is a completely offline Android application. So this is usually required to be used by the field workers. Then there is a completely operational, you saw already, the web application, which can be used by office-based people like data entry operators, program managers, program coordinators, anyone who wants to review data or enter data. So that's another way of getting in data or viewing data. Then there is CSV upload and CSV upload basically. So you have option called as upload over here. You can always, when you have created some forms, you can download a sample, then you can fill up those spreadsheet. This is mainly for, we don't encourage basically capturing data in CSV or paper forms and then uploading it, because the whole purpose of digitizing the system starts to go away. Your quality of data will be bad and all of that. The digital system allows for checks at the source itself, but you may have data from some past system, or before you move to Avni, you may be using paper or some other system. So if you want to like upload all of that data, you can upload it via CSV upload. So you will have columns which are corresponding to fields in your form. You can download a sample from here, like anthropometric assessment, if you want to upload weights of children over there. So then there will be a way to do that. Similarly, there is programmatic interfaces. So if you have another application from where you want to push data to Avni, all these options get opened once you design the system using Avni. So that's for getting data in. Now, getting data out, there are a few options. Like one, definitely, we saw the data entry app where someone can view the data. Then there is something called as longitudinal export. So you can export data for different types of like forms. From here you can give visit date, you can give location, generate export, and that will generate a CSV file that you can download and then use it. The format of that is designed to be used in tools like SPSS, Stata. It generates in a longitudinal format. So basically, for example, if you have a child with like let's say 100 weights captured in through 100 anthropometry assessment encounter, the way the format will be that you will have name of the child as the row, or the one row per child, and then you will have one by one all the fields of the form as columns, basically one after the other, side by side. That's the format that is there. I think once you try it out, you'll get more hang of it. That's another way. APIs, of course, I already mentioned, like you can get data in using API, you can pull data out also using that. Those are some of the ways. Another way is we set up custom reports using Metabase or Jasper, some tools in a particular formats that you provide to us, or you can also do it by yourselves by writing some SQL queries. Recently, we've rolled out a feature called as canned reports, because what we wanted was to give some reports or analytics out of the box. So here it's something called as canned reports. Here, what you get to see is a few dashboards over here. So one is activities. So here, for example, it shows like these kind of things over here. So it's showing various graphs showing registration, program enrollments, on-time visits, etc. Then there is something called as data. So the idea of the activities dashboard is for you to be able to monitor, okay, how many registrations are happening, how many enrollment is happening, when what is happening during the course of the whole year, those kinds of insights, how many visits are happening on time, so on. These are some metrics that we have identified over a period of time that are useful, usually people look for, and that's what we've created. So here then there is another option where you can explore the data in your form. So you can choose a particular form, let's say here child registration form, and then you say apply. So it will give you the split by particular field. So economic status, property, like that. So how many fields will be there, whichever fields will be there in that particular form, graphs and charts one by one will show up over there. Another a very important feature that is required is to be able to support your users on the field, especially in the initial time when people are adopting the system, and even later on also. So you want to see how many users are using the system, how many users maybe are facing sync failures, then maybe there are certain things that like device models, app versions, those kinds of insights are required. Because this is a very new system and we don't have so much data, I had some dashboards open. I'll show that over here. So I had like this, for example, here, this is how this graph shows up for one of the projects. This is how registrations is showing up, program enrollment is showing up here. I think this is from the JSS project only, JSSCP project. So you have different programs and it's showing various enrollments, then showing program exits, showing visits, split by visits, how many visits are done on time, how many visits are cancelled. These kind of details are being shown over here. Similarly, there is, for example, you see top 10 users by overall activity, users by sync failures, then you see device models, app versions, like this. So we're anticipating that this feature would be quite handy, especially even for use cases where someone is using for surveys and they don't have time and budget to get the custom reports set up, etc. So then, like you see, even in Google Forms, right? When you have a survey that you've submitted, Google Forms gives you some chart out of the box for you to get some insights into your data. So that's what this feature is about. Yeah, I think that covers the most part of what we wanted to showcase. I'll just first answer Nikita your question, and maybe even others would have it. How do you get started using Avni? One way is to sign up for the trial account. I mean, there is a 90-day trial period. You can try it out. You just send a request to us via avniproject.org website, and then we create an account for you, and then you can try it out. Or if you are sure that you want to use this system, I mean, you can start with a proper, like a converted, basically get it converted into a production account. There are some hosting plans that we have. Like if it is up to 100 users and 10,000 form submissions, then it starts with 40,000 rupees annually paid upfront. But there are, based on number of users and number of form submissions, we can give you a custom plan on the hosted service. Now, Avni as such is an open source platform. If you don't want to use hosted service for some reason, you can always deploy it in your data center if you have. But just be aware that it overall, you will require some IT person to be able to manage it. And the whole objective, even why this self-service, because we've seen a lot of NGOs don't have IT people, and then shouldn't become a blocker in starting to digitize their system. And that's the whole purpose of hosted service. One is that without not needing IT expertise, and second is the shared expenses, because it's a shared infrastructure. The cost gets distributed across various projects using Avni on the hosted service. So that's all, Nikita. I hope that answers your question and overall gives an idea of how you can get started.
Yes, can you repeat the email ID again?
There's no email ID as such. You just, okay, the website. So it is avniproject.org. If you also search in Google Avni data collection or something like that, you'll get, or I think Vinay had earlier pinged yeah, it's here right now as well. So
Great.
that's
Thank
the
you.
site. Yeah, over there you have a sign up, free sign up or something like that. That's there. You can schedule a more dedicated call, also more detailed call also with us, that if you require. Yeah, but give it a try, definitely. Yeah, we're already above time, but if anyone has any questions, we can maybe take it up.
I think I have got a fairly good idea of what we were talking. Yesterday we discussed it in brief. So today I think I have got a much better picture of what we are talking about. Yes, I think I will just go through this one. So you mentioned about the trial option. We can just try it out for a month or so, and then maybe maybe take a decision on how we go about it. That's really nice. That's really nice. Yeah,
Glad
thanks.
to know that,
Thanks.
Abhishek. Yeah.
Arjun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. I mean, getting good feedback from everyone about the canned reports. I think there would be some performance-related challenges for initial 1 to 2 months, like Vinay mentioned. I mean, these performance-related challenges you see on the canned report side also, but we are working on that front, and that should also get sorted hopefully by next webinar or in 1 to 2 months. And surely, yeah, this webinar is being recorded, so we'll share the recording.
Okay. Thank you, Avni.
Anyone else has any questions or comments or any feedback?
Yeah, if all the reports can be made to look more colorful as the canned reports, it will be really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the learning from all those systems that we've been having. I understand. So I think, yeah, easily, I mean, the move is in this direction. But canned analytics will have its own limitation. The system will not be able to understand all the custom indicators that you have, right? That to be able to provide it out of the box. And then we are limited by all the color combinations and visualizations and everything that these tools provide, Jasper and Metabase, when we set up custom reports over there. Metabase is comparatively more colorful, but we went for your project. I think we went with Jasper because it is more robust. Let's see. I think over a period of time, I think changes might happen. So I think, yeah.
Can we also download the CAN reports?
Not right now. So can see right now, this is in a very basic
Just
stage.
visual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there is a roadmap. I mean, we want to do various things on the canned report side, like someone be able to, like when you start using it, right, you'll see that, okay, there are various, like when you explore a particular form in the data dashboard, you see various charts. One of the ideas that you should be able to pick up particular indicators, particular charts over there, and then put up in a custom dashboard that you see on a regular basis. So there are various features like this that we've thought of, and we'll slow but steady, we'll keep on working on them in next few months, and keep growing based on feedback and how the usage and everything. We'll keep growing this feature. At the moment, because of some already demands from various projects, next 2 months it seems that our platforms teams, which is mainly Vinay and Vinod over here, will be completely occupied with some of the features that we're thinking of. So we don't know how much time we'll be able to spend in this direction, but we'll keep trying. This is very exciting feature to work on.
Also, one of
Yeah.
the things that we had was this, there was a long list of things that we could do with canned analytics. So like from existing users, right, we'd actually like to know what are the things that you really need. So even from a figuring out what to do first, it will be very useful. So do go through it and give us more feedback so that we can work towards getting the right things built.
Yeah,
Yes,
there is,
yes.
for example, Kannan this morning when he saw the feature, he basically he said that can these reports be embedded into the website directly. He was like, this would be amazing if we can give the visibility to general public, also like what all work we are doing, etc. So there would be these different types of needs, like being able to download the charts, being able to put in a custom dashboard, all these different types of features that we've thought of. Like Vinay is saying, I think some prioritization will be required, and your inputs will be like very valuable. I'll share these features are listed on the GitHub repo, and we'll work on creating a proper roadmap over there. So yeah, we'll share that list over the users mailing list.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for joining. See you again next month. In between, of course, with the users, we'll keep on talking. So yeah, thanks. Have a nice evening. Bye.
Thanks to you three, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.